there is what the cat dragged in. A silent monk. At least that's what you would be if it weren't for Malibu. To be fair, you are barely more powerful than one, now that the source has been ripped from you, and even more ripped from me.
Malady stands tall and proud, sunlight sparkling off her mask. From here, she looks almost angelic.
Ah, there you are. More than a silent monstrosity, less than a god. In the end, I'm not totally convinced it was worth my while to restore your consciousness, seeing what you've done with it so far. Where did I go wrong? Unfortunately for me, I've grown rather fond of you. Still, I'd expected quite a bit more from you. I was interested in being owed a favor by a shiny new god, not some emperor of the realm. Never mind. I'll find another way. I always do.
She fingers the mask covering her face. For a moment, it seems as though she's about to remove it. But instead,
We've come a long way together. I did my best by you all the way. Sacrificed much. And I'd have given even more to see you fulfill your destiny.
She looks you up and down.
I guess this will have to do. Take a moment, why don't you? Relax. Enjoy. I certainly plan to do the same. Oh, I don't know. Around and about. Treat myself to some mead, a lover or 300. I'd say we've earned it. Perhaps our paths will cross again. Perhaps not. Until we find out.
You confronted your demons, in turn to confront divinity itself. Not that your story is finished, of course. Draining source from the wind and waters may have felt charitable, but I promise that gratitude will rarely be showered upon you. Now that I am clear of mind and free of intruders, I'm wondering if it isn't time to share my learnings with the less enlightened. Once I've come to a conclusion, not grateful, just tolerant. Source made for an excellent ally in matters of a demonic nature. The Voidwoken may no longer seep through the veil, but the beasts of Nemesis remain. But I've no doubt you'll be seeing to that soon enough. Until we meet again, Lucy.
No more source, no more powers. Don't worry, darling. I know you have plenty of other qualities. Reform my ways. How adorable. No, I'm afraid I cannot escape who I am and what I've done.
Her eyes flick down to your mouth. She smiles coyly, then slinks forward to kiss you. Her mouth meets yours and devours you with predatory abandon. Somewhere in the recesses of your mind, you think you hear her voice sigh, "Mine." But then the kiss ends.
Something to remember me by, darling. Who knows? A nice cottage someplace quiet for Mahalia and I. A roaring fire and a feather bed. Maybe. But a girl needs some fun, doesn't she?
I always thought that those who resorted to self-sacrifice were lacking in imagination. But I must admit, a world without source is one that will need individuals of wit and intellect. A sharp mind is the only magic now. I believe I shall enjoy this new world very much. That is the question, isn't it? How does one top the greatest feat of necromancy ever conceived? I might have the answer to that. Tell me. No, of course you wouldn't. It's a written language, unreadable to most, but myself naturally. It comes from a mysterious race from another world. I intend to seek them out. This Gustafjan seems to guard portals to their realm. And once I've uncovered one, well, why settle for being the greatest mind in just one world, when there's another for the taking?
Beast spirit doesn't acknowledge you as you approach.
There, here the wild beast just sails on the ocean. He's docked in the bay and coming your way. Off on the yawn, you hear the commotion. He's docked in the bay and coming your way. The cupboard can't hide you, nor can your berth. His daggers don't care about the gold that you're worth. He'll bury your bones neath a mountain of earth. He's docked in the bay and coming your way.
He pauses, then continues to hum. All the... The purging that once silenced you remains on your mind as you approach Gareth. You are grateful for Malady's miraculous touch. Without it, there would be no you.
Amazing, I'm still here. That you're here. And that you might still speak. That Lucian...
Aside from a single blink, Gareth stands remarkably still.
Time. Time has a way of changing someone. Lucian did not start as the man he became. Nor is the man I am now the same as him that once served at the side of a divine. Lucian doesn't need me. And believe me when I say, I no longer need him. I only did what I was meant to do. I don't deserve thanks. I gave only the bare minimum, and still I strayed quite far.
Gareth shakes his head vigorously in response to his own emotions.
Self-pity is as dangerous as any man I have battled, Alexander included. In this new world, this world without the seven gods, it's a foe I plan to defeat for good. I find a way to fit. I wasn't just content to lurk in Lucian's shadow. I was his shadow. Now I stand in the sun as my own man. I just don't know who that man is. And so I find out. My goal is to have a goal, if that makes sense at all. And if it doesn't, well, that's all I've got.
Darling, you're here and I'm here. If just barely. Thank the gods or whomever for Malady. I'm curious to see how long he'll last. He's a good man, which makes him a dubious god. I suppose in the end, I want more from life than to belong to a stale pantheon. That quite depends on you, I suppose.
She laughs, and it's music to your soul.
We want each other, after all. We love each other, after all. Let others play the game of gods. Love conquers even divinity.
Ah, the betrayer.
Ifan folds his arms and steps back from you, as if your presence is toxic.
I suppose this is proof I've got really bad taste in friends. After all that we've been through since Fort Joy, after all that, to end up with Lucian once more, to settle for abject corruption over change.
He fixes you with a steely gaze, eyes burnished and shining like pebbles of hatred.
It was absolutely not. You listened to Lucian. You obeyed Lucian. After everything he did, you allowed him to take our source. And now you have restored a tyrant to power. I intend to spend the remainder of my days seeking to undo what you have done. It may not be possible. But when did that ever stop me before?
Ifan pauses, as if about to say something else, then shakes his head. With one last nod, he whistles up his soul wolf and... Ifan scowls at you, but says nothing further. Fane is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He leafs through it slowly, muttering to himself.
I see. Intriguing.
He glances up at you, big, empty eye sockets taking in every detail.
Well, well, there you are. Another fine specimen of your kind. A little leaner than when we first met, and a little less divine than you'd hoped, I imagine. Good heavens, do they? Not too regularly, I hope.
Fane looks back down to the book. A boat.
It could have been different, you know? I could have saved them. I could have found a way. Yes, what a reunion that was. I doubt she will ever forgive me for what I did. Then again, perhaps she will understand someday. Doing terrible things for good. So, what do you think he'll do, now that we live in a source-free world? Of that, there can be... I'm sure the bards will sing of your heroics for generations.
The skeleton hefts Hubert's dog-eared encyclopedia, its weight heavy in his hands.
I've been rereading this book, looking over your history once again, poring over every detail with a new perspective, and do you know what? It's shit.
Fane tosses the book over his shoulder. It flutters in the air as it sails over the ship's...
If you have spent your life staring at a thing, you can write about it with knowledge. You can write about it with love. But you creatures have spent your lives trudging about this world, and you've grown blind to its miracles. Take otters, for example. Energetic, waterproof, or octopuses. Did you know they're secretly octopuses? Octopi? Octopods? I shall have to look. Regardless, the world is filled with absolutely incredible sights. And who better to catalogue them with the awe they deserve than someone seeing them for the first time? Do you know, there is the idea that nothing is ever truly created or destroyed. I suppose we are all source, just in different forms. You being the cruder, less